Every job needs a crew, and that's mine. I keep the plan running, more or less. That guy builds siege weapons out of scrap. Our engineer, the big lad, strong, silent, solid. That's the muscle. And the sneaky one hoarding loot, Goblin. Don't ask, just let him work. Morning hits, time to build. No buttons here, just hands. One for lifting, one for smashing. Wood turns to planks, or to steel. Machine by machine, we move forward. By sundown, everything's humming. Walls set, traps armed. We are ready because night's never nice. First wave hits, we're just fine. Second one, not so much. Too many, too fast. One click, everything folds into a cube. Time to run. And just like that, we're ghosts. No base, no trail. Just a train full of junk and a crew full of stories. This world's big, and we've got rails to ride.
Oh! Oh! Yes! Hello, guys.
We had the pleasure of teaming up with the creators of The King is Watching for this video. It's a roguelite city builder with a really unique twist. You control everything with your eyes. Your units only work where you're looking, so you constantly have to adapt to the next threat, and honestly, it's really addictive. Each run lets you upgrade your king, so you can get stronger and more efficient over time. Unexpected events will keep shaking things up too, like making sure every session feels fresh and different. There's a free demo right now, actually, you can try. So go check it out. Super fun.
My name is Tristan, a cartographer from the capital who suddenly found himself way too far from home. My job brought me to Greyshaft, one of the islands of our kingdom. Greyshaft is beautiful, that much is certain. The island's thick forests hold many secrets. The Prime Strider's ruins await those who dare to hear the echoes of the past. And treasure might be buried just under your feet. Just don't get lost. And if you do, keep walking until you see a clearing, or a field of crops, or a creek where the villagers argue if they should go looking for someone who hasn't returned from the moors. A part of the island is covered in frost at any time of the year, and even the ancient volcano can't break the shackles of winter. Some Greyshaftians treat the island as a living being. They warn against waking it up when it falls asleep. Those who work from dawn to dusk rush to the safety of their homes before the creatures of the dark come out. Plenty of dangers await within the city walls too. Dangers that are hard to avoid even in broad daylight. The weather here is as capricious as life itself. A soothing breeze may grow into a squall, drowning the island in lashing rain. Even now, I can feel the storm coming. You must never lower your guard on Greyshaft. The beasts are bloodthirsty, the monsters are ruthless, and scavengers are fighting for every piece of meat on a bone. And have you seen the local bugs? Cursed abominations! Even the well-trodden roads are swarming with bandits willing to kill for a handful of coins. Greyshaftians are quick to judge, and their judgment is stiff. Think before saying anything, and think twice before doing anything. I will have to be careful. Even the slightest mishap may lead to grave consequences. I hope that there still are some decent people here. The whole island can't be populated with bandits only, can it? I could join the Order of the Seven. The knights seem noble and skilled in battle. I also heard rumors about the Free Hunters, a group of brave men who bow before no one and believe in justice for all. And it's just a couple of many different factions vying for power in here. You never know who you'll meet next. This new world is tempting, and this temptation is hard to resist. Greyshaft may not look too inviting, but it warms up to those with a brave heart and a curious mind. Everyone finds their share of discoveries here, and only the one knows what his island has in store for me.
A vacation of your dreams is only a click away, so book a stay at our resort now. Stroll through lush parks, or unwind on our clean, sunny beaches. Go on a shopping spree in the city center and get to know our friendly locals. Or reconnect with nature and... what the f*** is going on here? Oh, come on! We did what, like 12 takes today? Can't you keep this game in check for 60 seconds? And what in God's name is this? We do one more take after this and then I'm done. This is unbelievable. And we still don't have a release date? Streets of Rogue 2 is coming to Steam Early Access in 2025. Hopefully. Certainly before GTA 6. Go add Streets of Rogue 2 to your wishlist and play the demo right now.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikita, and for the past year and a half, I've been cooking. Take a look. Voin is a first-person hack-and-slash with RPG elements set in open-world-like levels. The game is about you being an unstoppable force of nature that wields metal as its weapon. The world is broken, and you are its reckoning. You kill monsters, you get loot, which is the game's bread and butter. And instead of affixes that plainly increase random stats, I decided to focus only on impactful stuff that actually changes the way you play. For example, you might find a hammer called Bellringer, which summons ghostly bells that, when hit, damage everyone around. Or another example, which I also like a lot, a really powerful scythe that literally tears reality as you swing, leaving scars that emanate freezing aura. Or should I say, a cool aura. No, I shouldn't say that. But guess what? You can also combine those two items into one. Find the Symbiosis station at the hub, read the instructions carefully, please, and boom, you have dual wakizashis that poison everyone and summon fire tornadoes. That's a thing, but enough of that. Let's get to the next exciting thing. In the last major update, Thunderborn, I added a huge dungeon underneath the Cathedral of Veiled Lament. Now though, I'm working on the game's next major update called Permafrost. It features a new, absolutely massive new location, the Athenium of Thousand Names. Snow-covered mountains, ice giants, perpetual blizzards. This place does not offer a warm welcome. Not at all. One of the other major features of this update is proper character progression. Finally, journey into the Hall of Reflection and find the new Tree of Talents. Yes, your talent tree is an actual tree. And not only that, while exploring, you'll be finding soul fruits, which you can attach to the tree and gain various bonuses. For example, the ability to sprint. And you can already play the talent tree update right now. Anyway, the game is shaping up great, and there are a lot more super exciting things coming. For example, a completely new character, completely new weapon types, spears, daggers, and more, and even quests. Alright guys, that's it from me. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Welcome to Drill Core, a base-building roguelike strategy game with survival elements, where your success fuels our quarterly bonuses. By day, command miners, carriers, and guards, tunneling through an alien planet. Build up your base, upgrade your defenses, then brace for nightfall, when the planet pushes back. It's not just resource extraction, it's responsible terraforming. Reach the core, tune the climate to client specs, and lift off before you're overrun. Drill Core has grown fast over last year. We added dwarf platforms in December, opened claims in living jungle biomes in February, and launched oversight departments just last month. That's not mentioning dozens of new buildings and turrets we developed to counter threats from newly encountered blocks and aliens. But the game will become even bigger when it hits full release on July. You can expect a new platform exploring cooperation opportunities with alien species. Lots of quality of life improvements and deeper turret customization to suit any corporate playstyle. And later this year, take the dig on the go when Drill Core comes to Nintendo Switch. Join Drill Core Inc. today and start your own. Drill Core Inc., building tomorrow's galaxy one core at a time.
Hello friends. A few months ago, we shared the first prototype of Hello Neighbor 3 with you. It was truly inspiring for us to hear all your positive feedback. Thank you. Today marks our next big step. Keep me company as I walk you through what we created since then. Here's Prototype 2. In our pursuit of an unhomely experience, we've created a completely new map. This time, world is much closer to what it's meant to be, and filled with intricate details for you to explore. Speaking of exploration, now each house is an actual playable area with a purpose. They contain things you might need on your journey. Keep in mind that these locations have owners and protection, which means you'll have to find your own way in. We're building a system-based world, so be sneaky, agile, brutal, or friendly. Every solution is the right one, as long as it works. To make this possible, we've added more tools and tricks you can use on your journey. Hide in a box, get a speed boost, break, fix, and more. We'll let you discover the rest yourself. In addition to your personal goals and ideas, this prototype has one key objective: leave the town before the storm arrives. Explore objects, characters, and the world as a whole to figure everything out. We hope you'll find your ways to escape. And most importantly, will you escape alone? Prototype 2 is now available for everyone to play. Head over to Steam, try it out, and share your feedback. We'd really appreciate it. We hope you'll like what we've created with this prototype, as we're already working on the next one, improving the map, deepening the AI behavior, and creating this butterfly effect. We'll show our progress in the upcoming devlog, so join Discord to be the first to see. Feel free to wishlist Hello Neighbor 3 on Steam, and take care.
Thank you for watching the Tiny Build Connect. Let's take a look back at everything we presented tonight. Ferocious. Navigate lush, treacherous landscapes, scavenge for resources, uncover hidden secrets, and fight to stay alive in this survival FPS set on a remote island full of dinosaurs and mercenaries. Experience the game yourself by playtesting it today. Sand. The PvPvE extraction shooter where players build and operate giant walkers, battle rival players, explore, loot, and extract resources in a hostile desert world is coming to consoles later this year. Train Fort. Players dwarf nomads building a mobile base on moving steam engines in this co-op open-world survival crafting game. Explore a vast post-apocalyptic world, gather resources, and keep rolling. Join the playtest today with your friends. Hosey. Hosey is a cozy renovation and cleaning game where you transform chaos into the perfect home at your own pace. Place objects freely and enjoy the little details as you interact with tools, items, and furniture to bring each space back to life. Playtest the game today. All Will Fall is a survival city builder with a unique physics-based 3D construction mechanic. Every structure you build can collapse. Create and manage the last city on Earth, making sure your colony thrives. Play the Steam Open Beta on June 9th. The King is Watching. Our roguelite city builder where you rule by the power of your gaze just got a new animated trailer. The game is launching this summer and the demo is already available on Steam. Of Ash and Steel. Explore a once prosperous island, hone your combat skills, and survive in the unforgiving Kingdom of the Seven in Of Ash and Steel, an immersive third-person open-world RPG which is launching a closed playtest soon. Sign up today. Streets of Rogue 2 is a sandbox RPG and a sequel to the iconic roguelike from 2019. Topple a corrupt president in countless ways solo or with friends and wreak havoc in a huge procedurally generated world. Coming to Steam Early Access this year. Voin, the high-octane first-person hack-and-slash from solo developer Nikita Sozidar will soon receive a major content update titled Permafrost. The game is out now in early access, and you can already test the newest edition, the Reflected Tree of Talons. Speedrunners 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to the genre-defining competitive platformer where you have to outrun your friends in fierce 2D running races. Sign up for the upcoming Steam playtest now. Duckside. The Steam Early Access success Duckside is coming to consoles. The persistent world survival game will be bringing PvP, PvE, craft,